Are y'all ready? It's time. Woo! Good. Good evening and welcome to a special edition of Moments with Mama Sue. Now, happy Father's Day to all of the fathers that are out there, the men who have nurtured us and given us life. You know, we always talk about the mamas, but you know what? It takes two to tango, and there would be no me if there had been no you. So we want to celebrate dads today, and it's a wonderful thing how the Lord orchestrates life and gives us the guidance and love of a father. And when I think about the ultimate father, who is, of course, God Himself, to know that He loves us so unconditionally and is there so caring and so willing to pick us up and hold us and love us. That's good stuff. But listen, we're going to have a wonderful time together today. And I want you to go ahead now and like and share and invite others to join in for this very, very special conversation. It came about because on the other night on Clubhouse, and y'all know I'm a social media platform rat, I get around. But I was on Clubhouse, and there's a young man who has been doing some phenomenal things with his music ministry. And when we heard his song in the Let Me Hear Your Song room for the Headphones Club, and we all got to thinking about the same time, this would be a dynamic episode for Moments with Mama Sue. And because of the subject matter and all of the things that he was dealing with in his life and testimony, it just seemed like it needed to be done like right now, R-A-T, right now. And it needed to be a part of a special episode for Father's Day. So I am extremely grateful that the Lord made that possible. Before I bring him to the screen, I want to remind you that we do have our regularly scheduled Moments with Mama Sue. Will be on tomorrow evening. So tell everybody, tell the world, so they can come join us. Our special guest for that episode is going to be Ruth Goolsby. You all know that I have sought to bring nothing but the best to Moments with Mama Sue because it's my delight to be able to introduce some wonderful people that I know to some other wonderful people that I know. So I want you all to stay up with that and be willing to join in on tomorrow as usual. But I'm glad you're here today. So, my special guest today for this conversation on Father's Day is Lloyd Nicks Jr. Lloyd is a part of the Kingly Common family. He is a St. Louis based worship leader and songwriter, and he's bridging the gaps between gospel, contemporary worship, and pop music. He's been a prominent voice in Christian music in St. Louis for the past 7 years or more. After completing a degree in vocal performance from Greenville University, he traveled internationally leading worship. Lloyd and his wife have decided to put down some roots in the St. Louis area, and Lloyd says, I'm ready to bring a new flair to Christian music that ignites a passion for Jesus with bold lyrics and the occasional the occasional 808. So I want you to give a great big Mama Sue's family welcome to the incomparable Lloyd Nicks Jr. Hey, Lloyd.
Mama Sue, so good to be here. So good to be here.
Oh, thank you for busting a hole into your schedule to make time to do this. I'm so
Yes, ma'am.
excited.
Yes, ma'am. Anything for you.
Oh, now don't say that. You know, I
Well, I
got it
fell
on
in love with
film.
you the first time I met you. I was like, oh man, she's so sweet.
Ah, see there. Well, Lloyd, you have been singing how long? How did you even, when did you begin singing?
Well, I don't come from a musical family. And so when I was younger, I could just always sing. My family doesn't know where it came from. I just loved music and didn't grow up in church, but I just loved music. And I would have never thought my life would have ended up here, but now I get to sing music for Jesus. So,
Wow, that is phenomenal. And then here's something that I think is really wonderful. You have found a way to bring kind of a new vibe to the worship arena
mhm.
with your songwriting. And where does that flow come from? Where is that coming from?
Well, I think I had to sell out to just being me, just being myself, and not being afraid to just be different. And for a while, I know I was trying to fit into a box, and because I didn't grow up in church, but most of my life has been in church because I got saved when I was 14. I'm 32 now. Um, I just had all these different sounds and genre that were in my ear that would naturally come out. And for a while, I would kind of like try to silence that until I one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna sell out to just being who God uniquely made me to be. It took a while for people to catch on, but I was adamant of being completely who God has made me to be and selling out to the sound that comes out of me because it comes from a place of worship. It's not a place of it wasn't coming from a selfish place. It was purely from a place of worship and wanting to glorify our creator.
Wow. And it is so authentic. Your voice is like it's so smooth, it's so silky sounding, and it's not, I mean, it's a unique sound.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's what we need as artists. We need to focus on having our own unique sound that comes from our creator that's not like anybody else. If I hear your voice, it don't matter what else is on the radio and what else is going on. I know that's Lloyd
Thank you.
because it's unique. So talk a little bit um, about your background. Who is Lloyd Nicks? Who is he?
Oof. Who is Lloyd Nicks? Well, first, I am a man of God. I am married to Ashley Renee Nicks. We have been married for 4 years in July. She is the love of my life, my best friend, and my biggest supporter. I'm from the St. Louis area, originally from, I grew up in Cahokia, Illinois, like the suburbs of East St. Louis. So I'm from the East St. Louis area. Um, Grew up, I have an older sister who I love dearly. And yeah, I didn't grow up in church. I grew up in an abusive household. My stepfather was very abusive, um, experienced everything from sexual abuse from when I was younger. Um, and then when I was 14 years old, I found Jesus. My uncle started to come and take me to church, and it was originally was a way for me to get away from my stepfather. And to one day I heard about Jesus, and I
Mm.
had heard his name my entire life, but it's like it never really hit the spot that it was supposed to hit, because it was more so culturally, but not relationally. I didn't really know the person. And when I met the person Jesus, he became everything I needed and more. And it's been a journey.
Ooh. Now, while you were talking, my hands were all elevated in the air because you said, when I heard about Jesus, or you met Jesus, that was the turning point. And for
Definitely.
so many of us, we have been fractured, we have been broken by events and circumstances in our lives. And you had what is not uncommon for many people, a relationship in your home that you were a child and could not escape. There
Yeah.
was nowhere for you to go, no safe haven for you because this was happening in your home.
Yes, ma'am.
How did you feel like you were trying to? Are you the oldest sibling, or
No, I'm the youngest.
you? Oh gosh.
And so I was, and if you knew the dynamic of my family, they have, it's just, that culture where you don't talk about it. And if you don't talk about it, then it don't exist.
Mm.
And so my stepfather, now I know he was dealing with his own trauma as a child. My mom, I knew she loved me, but she was dealing with her own trauma from her family background, and nobody was willing to get the help to really process that. And luckily, I've been able to get the help to process that. And so um, I'm trying to break generational curses so I won't, spew that on my kids or spread that to my kids. I want it to stop with me. But not only stop with me, I want to experience the freedom that Jesus has called us to during this lifetime myself.
Wow. Ooh, Lord. Listen here. You wrote a powerful, powerful song that I listened to because I downloaded it. And while y'all are listening today, I want y'all to be sure and go download it and share it because the message in this song is healing. There is healing in the words of the song, even the melody, all of it wrapped up together. And I want to share it with you, and then we're going to come back and talk to Lloyd some more. But the name of this single is Learning to Forgive. Learning to Forgive. And I want you all to listen to it right now. This is the lyric video.
Time, oh, it takes time to accept the apology that you may never get. Night, night after night, you toss and you turn in the bed of what was left. It's not once, it's 100 choices. Knock down, but don't listen to the voices. Let go of what they did. It's just what it is. Days, oh, there have been days when you try and you try, but there's too much in the way. Day, the lights on the way. Yeah. You will rise with the dawn, cause you're free from all this way. Yeah. It's not words, it's 100,000 choices. Knock down, but don't listen to the voices. Let go of what they give. It shares what it is. Give it some time. Let your soul rest. With every breath, you're learning to forgive. I'm hurting, cut me so deeply, now I'm bleeding. You're bleeding too, I ain't perfect. I got blood on my hands too, and maybe we do all the things that we do because somebody hurt me like somebody hurt you. If God can't forgive me, then I can't forgive you. It's not one, it's 100,000 choices. Knock down, but don't listen to the voices. Let go of what they did. It shares what it is. Give yourself time. Let your soul rest. Oh, with every breath, you're learning to forgive.
Wow. Just wow. Just wow. Ooh, there is so much in that song. Every word is impactful. Every word I feel is intentional. Let's talk about your songwriting now because I feel like that is a wonderful segue from that experience in your life. How has God used your songwriting just to minister to you and now to minister to countless others?
Um, I'm naturally an introvert, and so one of the things that I've been dealing with is expressing like how I really feel. And songwriting has always been that way for me to actually dig deep and really express how I'm actually feeling. Um, and so I'm very intentional about every single word because I feel like every word matters. Every single word has to have intention in it. And I think that's so God honoring because I think that when we even look at the scripture, every word is intentional. There is no word, there was no punctuation, there is no space in between the words that's not intentional. And for me, I take that same approach with my writing, especially when I'm co-writing with people. I fight for every word. I fight for every melody, every line, every slight pause or ad lib has to be something that drives the point home so that at the end of the song they're not just left with something that makes them feel good, but it's something that's life changing. And for me, I've written my way. My writing has been literally how I've written my way out of bondage and out of
Ooh,
depression and out of suicide. Like I've written my way out, and then I'll go back to the song and I'll realize that really all they are borrowed melodies from heaven.
mm,
Those are, I really believe God speaks prophetically through songwriting in the church. And I believe, just me, this is not, I'm not saying in scripture. I really believe that when it's all said and done, at the end of it all, when we get to heaven, we're gonna hear angels singing these songs around the throne, and they're borrowed from heaven.
Ah, that's some good stuff. Look, one of the lyrics in that song, and I have listened to it, let me tell you, multiple times. It's on repeat. Whenever I play it, I can't ever just listen to it one time and
Yes,
move
ma'am.
on. I have to listen again and again and again. But one of the lyrics in there was let go, let go. Because we often talk about the hurt that is inflicted on us. And it's like Satan keeps us on a wheel like a
Mm-hmm.
hamster, going around and around, replaying what has happened to us and who hurt us and that they were wrong. And that is true. It's evident they did wrong. They harmed us. They damaged us. But holding on to it gets us nowhere.
Nowhere. We're the only ones that's suffering. While they
Ooh,
probably forgot about it and moved on, we're the only ones that's suffering. And I believe that, yes, forgiveness frees the other person, but I think it's even more so freeing for ourselves.
ooh. That part right there. And then just the overall theme of the song, learning to forgive, because it is a process.
You got to start over and over again. They do something to make you mad. You got to choose over and over again to forgive the person. Forgiveness is not, I don't think it's something that's linear.
Mm, talk about that.
Sometimes it's linear, sometimes it's a isolating circle, sometimes it's a figure eight, sometimes it's just you're trying to claw your way through a dark space that you don't even know how to get out of, but the point is to keep moving, not to
Mm,
stay there and let it consume you. Because if you stay there and let it consume you, think about how many other relationships, God giving, God breathing, God birthing, God inspired relationships that are affected by you holding on to the offense.
whoa, whoa, right there. Whoa, right there. Because not only does it rob you in real time while it's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but when you allow it to fester,
Yes.
it robs you of your future.
Yeah. And it robs you of the people in your life that God is calling you to even be a part of that healing journey.
Ooh,
And
that's some
I was
good
looking at the
stuff.
song too, and I was like, one of the words that jumped out to me when it was like night after night. Listen, my night was 26 years.
Mm,
And in the midst of it, it hurt so bad. I used to dream about these days. And they were only a figment of my imagination. In my wildest dreams, did I ever think that I was ever going to feel this freedom? And it
mm,
came out of me losing the most special person to me, my mother. Like, I would have never thought that me losing my mom would be so much healing. Like, grief brought healing and restoration and freedom, and all while I'm still grieving her and I still miss her. But forgiveness that came out of nowhere. I'm the happiest I ever been in my life, but I'm also grieving the deepest, and they coexist in one space.
mm. You know, there's an African proverb that says, as long as we speak their names, that they are forever with us. Tell us a little
Mhm.
about your mom.
So my mom is she was the youngest of 11 kids. Her name was Kathy Holmes, and she had this sweetness about her. She was such a sweet lady, and she had her, like, I think about, yes, she could have left my stepfather, but now I understand her so much deeper in her psyche and the way she thought that I could not understand when I was younger. And I understand that. a lot of times people are hurting and doing the best that they can. And my mom was my biggest fan. I mean, I remember after she passed, finding her income tax and finding that she only made about 15,000 a year. But I always was the best dressed. I never went without. I remember being away at school and having expenses, and my mom would come up with the expenses, and I'm like, how did she do this with $15,000 a year? And let alone, I could never do that myself with that income. But my mom, like, there's something about a mama that will find a way. And so, my mom, when we found out she had cancer, she initially didn't tell me, but then she told me. But she didn't tell me that it was terminal. I found out after that she knew that it was terminal and there was nothing that they could do for her. But she fought to the end. And around that time, right before she got sick, she started to come to church with me, and she started to know Jesus. And I started to notice a change in her devotion to Jesus, and even more so, like when she was in her last days, my mom became a worshiper. I specifically remember being in the room with her at the hospital where they had given up on her. All the friends and family were there. She was still able to stand up and all that, and she would just be crying, and I would play worship songs, and my mom would lift her hands, and I didn't even know that that was even in her. And my mom found Jesus, um, and she died with her family around, and she on a hospice at my aunt's house, and it was on my birthday, and I remember it. She had They said that she had days to live, and she lasted. It's like she held on for 2 weeks. And literally, we sang happy birthday to me in her room. She had been unresponsive for 2 days sleeping, which I was happy for because she hadn't been sleeping in months. And they we sang happy birthday to me, and within like 30 minutes to an hour later, I was with my mom when she took her last breath.
Wow. And if Miss Holmes could see her baby today, and what a remarkable young man you are, and all of the things that you're achieving, because out of pain sometimes comes purpose. And God finds a way to utilize our misery, and we minister even in the midst of it. And you spoke something earlier when you said that the grief and the freedom can exist in the
Can.
same space.
And I didn't give up. And it's something about when you suffer with Jesus,
Mm,
because he said, if you suffer with me, you
you're
can
right.
reign with me. And I've been able to call God out on his word and say, I suffered with you. I didn't give up. I stayed with you. And God has been faithful to his word that I'm starting to reign with him. And it's been miracle after miracle that it doesn't even make any sense. But the formula was, I suffered with him. So now I'm reaping the benefits of bearing the cross.
Mm. Now, Lloyd, talk about the relationship now with your stepdad, because we know that it was fractured, it was broken, it
Mm-hmm.
was toxic, and no one would imagine that any good thing could come out of all
No,
of
I,
that.
I
So what
I
is,
didn't imagine. I thought that after my mom passed, I was going to go about my way, and I was never going to have to see him again. Um, he was very verbally abusive, physically abusive, and I found out that his mom was extremely abusive to him, and a lot of what he was doing was out of him internalizing all that hurt in me. And I remember him growing when I was growing up, he would always talk about the past and what people did to him. And I remember him sitting at the table every day after work, and he would blare music. And actually, from him is where I really found my love of music from, because he played everything from country, Hootie and the Blowfish, to Journey, to Tupac, to R&B soul. He loves music. And I didn't realize that all those years that he was blaring the music, but he was like he would talk to himself and remind himself of all the things people had done to him wrong. But at the same time, all the music was bleeding into me, and I was learning and I was hearing, and it was creating my sound. And fast forward to when my mom passed, all of a sudden, he moved in with my sister, and I went over there one day, and I noticed something. It took a while for it to settle in. And I was like, I'm not mad. What is going? And I was kind of like searching for the anger. And when I got to the end of myself, it was gone. Like, it
Mm,
was literally gone. And God started to really let me see him for him, and see him for what he had experienced, even to the point that I've been able to talk to him and say, I see you. And one day I was like, Pops, can I talk to you? Can I tell you what I see? And I started to explain to him like what God had showed me about him, how he pretends to be tough, but he's really putting on this hard exterior because he will crumble if he don't. And he looked at me. He said, "Wow, you know me that well?" And I said, "Yeah." And I looked at him and said, "I forgive you. There is nothing in me that is angry at you. I have nothing in me that is angry at you, that you have to be ashamed for. I forgive you. I'm happy." And I looked at him and I said, "Now it's time for you to live your life."
mm, mm. Ooh, wait, I just had to sit there and let that sit right there just for a minute. There's nothing in me that holds anything against
I
you.
completely let it go. And I'm not going to
Ooh.
bring it up again. It's not going to carry over to anything that happens in the future. It's done.
Now, that, ladies and gentlemen, is forgiveness. But it was a process.
It
It didn't
was.
happen overnight. Walk us through just a little bit of what the journey with your stepdad has been like since
When
that time.
nobody else has showed up, he showed up, and he's been having a little pain in his legs now because he's getting older. And he would literally bust his back to help me and my wife move to our different apartment. Like, even the little things of, he would call me and just, "Hey son, how you doing?" And he would like let me hear me. I heard this song and stuff, and he would like let me hear the music. And even when for his birthday, he loves rock and roll. I got to take him to his concert, and for his birthday. And I noticed he was in some pain because I guess he had some gout and the gout going on in his feet. But he pushed through to spend time with me. And even when I come around, and we don't talk every day, but when I'm around, he makes me feel like I'm the only one in the room. And he tells me the affirmations: "I'm proud of you, son. Me and your mom will be so proud of you." And it's like, it's so amazing to me, because I believe God is really using the forgiveness I've shown him to show him the forgiveness of the Father. And I'm praying that he catches a glimpse of who God is, and that he realizes that the forgiveness of God don't make no sense. The gospel don't make no sense. Grace doesn't make any sense. That when you believe that you deserve the consequence, or the verdict. Jesus completely paid the price for it all. It was finished on the cross. It was done. For everything you've done, for everything you might done, Jesus, he finished the work on the cross. And I'm praying that he sees that through the forgiveness.
Oh, listen, this whole testimony is so powerful and so riveting. And I know those of you that are in Mama Sue's family, y'all are going to want to replay this particular episode again and again. And I pray God will use this platform to expose to countless individuals how important it is for them to allow God to make them whole, allow God to use the process of forgiveness to turn your life around and give you the peace, the joy, and the happiness that you deserve, that He wants for you to have. Now, Lloyd, your biological dad is still alive, is he
He's
not?
still alive, and I don't really have a relationship with him because he's been in and out of jail my entire life. We share the same name, and even like if I go deeper into that, my biological father is listed as a sex offender, and he's been on drugs my entire life, and he just went back to jail. And if you Google my name, you go a little deeper, you will see his picture. And there's been times where people from my hometown have saw his name on a sex offender list and tagged me in it and thought it was me. And I had to clarify that, yes, this is my father. Yes, this is my name. I refuse to change it because God is redeeming my story.
Yes.
He is redeeming my story. And of course, there are, even though you walk through forgiveness, there are boundaries that you have to set sometimes, because I feel like boundaries are God honoring to protect not only your soul and your heart, but it's to protect those that are connected to me, like my family and those in my life that God has called to me that aren't necessarily blood, but they're definitely family. So there are boundaries I have had to set with my real father. I wish him well, and I'm praying for him, but it's I had to set boundaries so that I wouldn't be hurt over and over again, and also allow space for me to heal from that. And I'm
Mm.
praying that one day, God, at the end of it all, God will redeem that story.
But in the meantime, God is using your gift. He has anointed your voice. He has anointed your pen to be able to write and share a message of hope and healing to so many.
Yes, ma'am.
Before we close, Lloyd, tell the people how they can follow Lloyd Nicks Jr. How can they get in touch with you?
So you can reach me on all social platforms and follow me on everything. It's at Lloyd Nicks Jr. I'm on TikTok. I'm active on IG. On TikTok, I share a lot of my stories about my family in music, mostly music on IG, and on Facebook as well, sharing music, and also on all streaming platforms. Go find my music and share it. Not for me, but share it. I feel like when you share my music, you're sharing hope to a watching world. And my prayer is that we as the church be an example of what we hope this world will be.
Ah, that's good. Now, before we close, because this is Father's Day, this is Father's Day. So, share a message that you would like for all the brothers, all the men out there to know about fatherhood and your thought, your take on what that means.
Ooh, I am not a father yet, but hopefully soon. Um, But I will say the responsibility of the father is very great because I believe it forever shapes in a person how they view God. How they view God the Father is directly reflected on how a father raises their children, um, conducts their household, how they love their spouse, how they are in public. Um, Children see it. And I pray that the way you father reflects the Father so that we don't have to work through the trauma of trying to reconcile the things and reconcile our notions of what we think God is. And that's only found through the word, being in the word. A father that chases after the Father's heart is what I long to be.
Ah, that is so wonderful. Lloyd, thank you
Thank
for
you.
sharing on Moments with Mama Sue. This has blessed me today. I know I'm going to go back and listen again and again because there will be little nuggets that were dropped that I just wasn't able to latch on to in real time. But listen, we want you to like and share this. We want you to tell everybody that is a father in your life, that there is a special relationship, and that it's never too late.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late to make good on all the things that God has entrusted to you to do. We want to encourage you if you like what you've heard today, if you've enjoyed hearing Lloyd and others across this platform, we want to encourage you to please, please, ma'am, and please, sir, go and find a way to share with Moments with Mama Sue. I am on all of these digital platforms, and I would love, love, love to have you share. You can support what I'm doing via Cash App at $Sue Roseberry. And if that doesn't give you a warm fuzzy, then you can go and do it via Venmo at Sue Roseberry 1. And then for everybody who's old school like me and say, child, I ain't messing with them computers and all that stuff, they'll mess up my money. Then you can always just send me a good old fashioned check in the mail, P.O. Box 51422, Midland, Texas 79710. And listen, I love you, and I hope that you will tune in tomorrow at our regularly scheduled time to get to meet Ruth Goolsby and enjoy another Moments with Mama Sue. Thank you for being here. And again, happy Father's Day. Woo! Now that's what I call a great show. Woo! We out of here. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Ah, now we can do it a little better than that. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh, well, all right, come on with it. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Oh. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh, wait. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Moments with Mama Sue. Moments with Mama Sue. Never know what to expect. Hey! Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Ow! Moments with Mama Sue. Ow! Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Yeah. Moments with Mama Sue. Can't you? Moments with Mama Sue. Moments. Oh. Well, now we might be done a little bit too much. Moments with Mama Sing it.